What's going on? You know, you cannot make a lot of this shit up. You just can't. All right. I honestly believe 50 years from now, people will look back, around this time and wonder what the fuck were people thinking. All right. I honestly believe that. Now, this is not all Trump supporters, in fairness. Okay. There's going to be even Trump supporters that are going to listen to some of this shit and say, the fuck is that? you know, like I just want lower taxes. I don't know about any of that shit. Like whatever it is, I'm pretty sure even they're going to raise an eyebrow. But there is a very loyal, strong base of Donald Trump with evangelicals, right? With these fundamentalist Christians, they have this very strong loyalty to him, and it is strong. Like no matter, like Donald Trump could do no wrong in their eyes. Even if something's true about Trump, they'll find a way to martyr him. Meaning, no, it's the fake news that is saying that about him. Trump didn't really do that. And even though a lot of Trumpists have this attitude, here it's at a whole nother level, right? Not only is the media lying about Trump 24/7 all the time, he's also the Messiah. He's the second coming. He's fulfilling prophecies. The end of the world is coming. Not only did it's not about Donald Trump winning because he beat the establishment or I don't even like him, but I like him a lot better than Hillary. No. This is Donald Trump is God's chosen. God handpicked Donald Trump. And then you might say to yourself, oh, come on, this is the style exaggerating. These styles exaggerating. There's no such thing as Trump supporters that are this, deep into Trump. It doesn't exist, right? Well, I'll tell you. But before we listen to some of these clips, interesting, because now they have an answer for all this, but let me just go over it anyway. Donald Trump's been divorced twice. Infidelity. Children with multiple wives. He, I think with 3 women, right? He has children. Has been numerous times, allegedly, charged with sexual assault. There's even been rape allegations against Donald Trump, right? But let's say those aren't true, but they're still out there. I mean, we have the grab him by the pussy. This is a guy that says, I just grab him by the pussy. I don't even ask. I start kissing him, and he used the excuse of this is locker room talk, right? I mean, this is what we're talking about here. Donald Trump, a guy who worships money. All right. I mean, this is who we're talking about. We're not talking about somebody who, let's say, we disagree with in policy, but he's a good person. He's a family man, right? No, but they find a way to twist it. And it's all, well, he found the error in his ways, right? Donald Trump, in his late 60s, all right? He's already a grown-ass man, was on TV saying, not only was he for abortion, right? Not only was he pro-choice, that is. He was pro-choice without question, even pre-birth abortion. Donald Trump did not become pro-life until a black man was in office, all right, and he took on what the other party was, and that was pro-life. That's when he became pro-life. Coincidentally, but let's say he did have a change of heart. Okay, right. He had a change of heart in his fucking 70s. Okay, right. um, this we could go over other things, people that he screwed over and stuff like that, but they always turn around and they say, but that's a man. Isn't that what Robertson said at 700 Club? But that's a real man. Real man, just grab him by the pussy. Like, you know, I mean, this is, you can't. Right. But, I mean, this isn't exactly Jesus, right? Like this is a second coming. This is insane. Like, even the most, I would think, even the most like hardcore Trump fan, you know, because there's people that just like the fact that he's president for whatever, they just like it. Like, you know, they just like to stick it to establishment. So I love that he's president, right? But even those people got to admit, come on, he's not the Messiah. Like, you know, he's not Jesus, right? like you know, this is not. You got to know that, first of all, does God exist? Does he not exist? But let's say he does exist. You really think he's going to pick Donald Trump? Like, you can't believe that. You can't believe it. But I don't know. Oh, come on, DStyle. You're exaggerating, DStyle. You're exaggerating. Well, let's find out if I'm exaggerating. Right, listen to some of this shit.
Read this. Trump upset victory divinely sent to begin a messianic process.
Yes, actually, it's right here. It says Donald Trump's upset victory in the presidential race over Hillary Clinton, who was heavily favored in virtually all the pre-election polls, seemed to defy the laws of nature, reason, and sense. Several rabbis have an explanation. However, quite simply put, it was the will of God.
Wow.
It goes on to say, I have known for months that Donald Trump would win the elections, Rabbi Berger told Breaking News in Israel. He is connected to the messianic process, which is happening right now. When he promised to move the American embassy to Jerusalem, he attached himself to the power of Mashiach, and which gave him the boost that he needed. If you separate from Jerusalem, disaster will follow.
No president has ever been so pro-Israel than President-elect Donald Trump. In the platform, he even states that Jerusalem is the eternal, undivided capital of Israel.
Oh, look at this. Oh, I see what this is. But let's. No president has ever been so pro-Israel. Now, first of all, I don't know what it is about. Like, I don't have anything against Israel or anything, okay? But I don't know what it is about this fascination with wanting to be pro-Israel. You know, what happened to America first and all that? Like, what? It just doesn't apply when it, because of this, because of religious nuts like this, right? First of all, if you think Donald Trump winning the election against Hillary Clinton, quote unquote, defied the laws of nature, then I mean, this is insane, right? This is crazy. This is crazy. First of all, let's not forget that the polls were right for about, what was it? I think I don't have the figures in front of me, but about, it was like 45 out of the 50 states the polls were correct. The national polls were correct. Hillary did win the national vote, right? She did win that. What she didn't win, okay, was the Rust Belt, the Midwest. That's where Trump pulled the upset. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, which when you look at the margins, he barely won those. Not credit, he won them. And the polls were wrong, right? Now, they were also wrong when she ran against Bernie Sanders there. So that's what you call an outlier. But nonetheless, it was an upset, right? Okay. So The polls were wrong when Trump was going to, they had Trump winning Iowa, and he lost Iowa. There was a couple other states that Cruz beat him in that the polls had Trump slightly ahead, and he didn't win those states. So he ultimately won, as the polls stated he would, right? But at the end of the day, polls have a thing called a margin of error. Nothing was really that far off the margin of error outside of Michigan, right, and Wisconsin. That's it, right? So this is not like, oh, it defies, in order for it to defy the laws of nature, I mean, they're comparing this to like defying gravity or, like some miracle, like a real miracle, like they chopped his leg off and his leg came back on. It's stupid to say that. Okay, now let's say, oh, but come on, DStyle. It's just an expression. It's a figure of speech. They don't literally mean that. Okay, fair enough. But excuse me for not thinking this is just a figure of speech when I'm talking about religious nuts who believe this dude's a second coming just because he himself said that they're going to recognize Jerusalem, okay, as the capital of Israel. But two other countries don't, by the way. But let's say it doesn't matter. He's the Messiah. He's God's chosen. He's the one that's going to do it. Now, they've been saying this since last year. So you don't think Donald Trump knows this? Okay, he's probably laughing at you idiots, right? He's probably laughing at things like this. Like they think I'm the Messiah, right? Probably have some intro, give him head. Yeah, give head to the Messiah, baby. All right. Anyway. Oh man, there's more of this to come. All right, listen to more of this.
That's incredible. And he said, like we've talked about just on this program, that he's going to move our embassy that's currently in Tel Aviv, Israel, to Jerusalem. Now, that recognizes that's the capital.
Yeah.
Now, for example, all of the world's, all the countries' embassies are in Washington, D.C. because that shows that Washington, D.C. is the country's capital. By us moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem is a powerful and bold.
It's funny to me how these nuts, okay, are celebrating like if it's a good thing. Like, like yes, we're going to put the capital in Jerusalem because it says in the book, my little fictional book, okay, it's the capital. Yeah. Like, all right, cool. All right. What's going to happen like 10 years from now when the world hasn't ended yet and there's no second coming and the four horsemen aren't here and there's no rapture and all that? What are you guys going to say? False alarm, right? What are you guys going to say? Well, first of all, these religious nuts for years have been predicting the end of the earth, okay? If you happen to be one of these religious nuts, do yourself a favor, all right? Just look for it and wait for it. When they start asking for all your money, because you're not going to need it anyway, all right? And you don't get it back if there's no end of the world. Listen to more of this horse shit.
Move on Donald Trump's part. I'm going to read one more article about this, and I'm going to go to other prophecies that Donald Trump has now fulfilled, and prophecies that you may have forgotten about. Hidden election day message to American Jews: move to Israel now.
Wow.
It says election day in America was delayed 1 week this year, resulting in a remarkable confluence of events that at first glance seem insignificant, but taken all together contain a message that Jews in America should seriously consider it's time to move to Israel. It says elections are normally held the first Tuesday in November, but this year they were postponed. As a result, the U.S. elections coincided with three events. Because it was postponed 1 week, they happen to coincide with three events that are significant to Jews. Now, one of those events is the National Aliyah Day in Israel. The reading, which is the reading of the weekly Torah portion pertaining to, let's deal with that one. The reading of the weekly Torah portion pertaining to Abraham leaving his homeland for Israel. So because the election was took place the week following, it happened to coincide with that week in Israel, the reading of the weekly Torah portion that pertained to Abraham leaving his homeland for Israel. Now, Rabbi...
Oh, shut up. I could only listen to so much of that, right? But look, let me tell you what that means and why that's dangerous, okay? Now, you see, this is why I say religious fundamentalist. It's not just a Muslim fundamentalist like ISIS and stuff like that, okay, Al-Qaeda, and it's not just a religious fundamentalist like the ones that run shit in Saudi Arabia. It's not just a religious fundamentalist of Islam that are a problem, all right? Religious fundamentalists like this. Now, these happen to be Christian. Oh yeah, go ahead. We want more people to go to Israel. Move to Israel. You do know there's not like a lot of reservations right now, like just waiting for people, right? Like, you know that, right? You do know that that more and more people creating settlement after settlement after settlement means the following. It means another Palestinian farmer loses his land. Another Palestinian family loses a roof over their head. Their home's going to get bulldozed. Move the fuck out of the way. That's what that means. And everything becomes reactionary. So what happens? So what do you want these people losing their homes? And, what do you want them to do? Like, after they lose everything? So, well, I guess it's just, the Messiah, Donald Trump, hallelujah. Well, what do you want him to say? What do you want him to do? You don't want him to get mad? And then you're shocked when they retaliate? Now, I don't like a group like Hamas. I don't support Hamas in their terrorism. But I understand where they stem from. I understand why they have support. One of the biggest problems in having peace in the Middle East has always been the constant creation of settlements. The Palestinian land is getting smaller and smaller and smaller while we're, quote unquote, negotiating peace. What this is doing is this is taking us back years, decades, this move. It's going to take us back. But who cares about that? My book says that we have to fulfill the prophecy. Sorry, Palestinians. Too bad. Well, a bunch of brown people. Who cares, right? Okay. Let's listen to this other thing. I'm going to go to this. This is beyond. This is beyond crazy, but.
This is our time of the church. This is the great outpouring. I believe it with all of my heart. This book, Final Fire, we're there, folks.
Look at that. This book, Fire. Notice how none of them ever say, if this isn't it, because I'm sure this is it, but if this isn't it, that's it. Okay, I give up. If this is not it, they're going to be selling other books, and another end times is going to come, and more idiots are going to believe it. Right? But let's move on.
We are in the final days. I believe you're going to hear more talk about the great temple being built in Israel. Do you believe that at all? I didn't ask you ahead of time, so maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly, and there's a push for that. And did you notice that one of the very first things when Trump was elected, the rabbis in Israel calling on him and Putin to use their international clout to do what? To rebuild the temple. Don't think this can't happen. I think impetus is on our side right now. I think we're moving towards a moment. And the rabbis over there, some of what the mystical rabbis are saying is very, very curious right now.
Can we find out right now?
Will we just go?
Yeah, I want to know. I know my audience.
So
look at these idiots clapping. Like they're like, oh man, this is golden. This is so true. This totally makes sense.
There's so many of these articles. We've been running them at Skywatch TV almost every week right now. And so I only brought a couple of them with me. This one, Trump upset victory divinely sent to begin messianic process, say Israeli rabbis, right? And this one, ancient secret of Daniel's 70 weeks predicts end of days will come this year in 5777, which started in October last month in the Jewish calendar year and will be done by September of the coming year.
You know, the best part is that when I look at this video, it says the Great Awakening offer 3 amazing books plus 1 bonus DVD. Only $50, right? This dude isn't hustling people for money, right?
So, and by the way, that was Rabbi Meir Horowitz 300 years ago, working on Daniel's time and half a time, and he set a date. He set a date 300 years ago. He said, this will all happen. The Messiah will arrive. The end times will begin in the Jewish calendar year 5777. The rabbis have held that dear to them since then. What is that? That's 2016 to 2017. Messiah will arrive. Now, they're looking at Donald Trump. One of the rabbis illustrated how his name in the gematria, the numerology of his name, actually means Messiah. Now, there's some weird stuff here that's going on. So think about this for a moment. In the Jewish Zohar, 700 years ago in medieval Aramaic, Orthodox Jews speculated about when will the Messiah be on the earth, right? And in the Be'era section of the Zohar, they said he will arrive on earth in the year 57. He will make himself known in the year 5773, which was 2012 to 2013. Oddly enough, Trump goes to Israel in 2012, decides not to run for U.S. president, meets with heads of states, comes out of that. You can watch the YouTube on television, and he starts talking to the Jewish people, telling them to vote for Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party, which they did, right? But what the Zohar said was he will be identified. From that day and forward, there have been at least a dozen Jewish rabbis that have said the Messiah is on earth now. He's been identified. He is soon going to make himself known. Well, some key things have to happen for the messianic figure in the Jewish mindset. For the Messiah to arrive, you can't think of him like we think of Messiah. We think of Messiah after the model of Jesus. He's the Son of God, divine birth, all of that. That's not the way the Jews look at the Messiah. They're looking for a king. They're looking for a political leader. As a matter of fact, Messiah to them means the anointed one, and it goes back to the ancient days when they would anoint a king and recognize him as this.
Let me take a wild guess. And the anointed one is Donald Trump, right?
It's the man that God sent. And what they're looking for is several things. First of all, they're looking for somebody in a political figure who can lead decisive battles in defense of Israel. This is why the only politician on the face of the earth that was standing up and saying, if I'm elected president, I'm going to be the biggest friend that Israel's ever had. We're going to undo the Iran deal, well, blah, 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 right? And being a friend of Benjamin Netanyahu. Secondly, they're looking for, when the Messiah comes, there will be an ingathering of Jews from around the world back into the Holy Land. That's why the rabbis, on the eve of his election, went on television and said, we need to call now Jews from around the world, come back to Jerusalem because the Messiah is here, right?
Yes.
There's another thing. Thirdly, they talk about when he arrives, he is going to reinstitute the temple service. So what was the second thing they did? They called on Trump and Putin to use their power to rebuild the temple and to reinstitute the temple service. I'm not saying that they think he is the Messiah. What I actually think is that most of the rabbis there think he's John the Baptist. And
oh, okay. See, this whole time I was like, he's not the Messiah, really? You know, and I'm thinking about Jesus, and then they explain that, right? No, they don't mean like somebody like Jesus, not like a good person like that. Nah, it has to be like a political leader, a motherfucker, like a strong military guy that's going to lead it and defend Israel, right? Right. And then, but no. Oh, okay, now, okay, he's just John the Baptist. That's it. Like, no wonder I was all like, I was aiming too high. He's just John the Baptist, people. That's it. Right.
Messiah is about to appear. He's the forerunner. He's the guy that's going to start the message in the wilderness, and the Messiah is going to come in on his heels. And so we need the temple service. We need to get back into Israel. The Messiah. Now, why are they saying that? They have identified somebody. I mean, there could be a few rabbis there that think he's the Messiah. The other third key is he has to be of the Davidic dynasty. He has to be of the Davidic bloodline, and there is an effort right now to go back through the European monarchy, cousins of President Donald Trump, to show that his bloodline goes back to the Davidic dynasty. Now, why are these efforts underway? I'm just saying there's something very strange here that's going on, and everything I'm saying can be verified. Multiple news agencies, the Jerusalem Post, Breaking Israel News, they're all talking about this right now.
Wow.
So they too believe that we are in the end times.
Right.
They too believe that the Messiah is about to appear.
Now, buy my
They
book.
say the second coming is about to happen, but their Messiah is going to be a false Messiah. He's going to be the Antichrist, right? I also don't believe Donald Trump is the Antichrist.
Oh, no.
So I think that the smart ones in Israel are looking at him right now. They're saying he is God's, what we would call John the Baptist. He is God's messenger. When he takes over in January, there is a 5777 countdown to the appearance of the Messiah.
Right.
And something could happen overnight that could lead to the reconstruction of the temple.
Okay. Hold on. I like how he's like, yeah, everybody was jumping to conclusions that he's the Messiah, but no. The smart ones know what he really is John the Baptist. You know, there's some other ones that speculate that it's possible that he could be a false prophet, he could be the Antichrist, but I don't think he's the Antichrist. We all know that was Obama. Well, he didn't say that, but you know, I could totally see them making that logic, right? Obama, the guy that has been faithful to one woman his whole life, okay? Well, I don't know about his whole life, but since he met her, all right? A woman who's classy, by the way, not a woman that was posing nude and, you know, and all this shit, you know, and married an old ass fart for his money later in her life, okay? And for she could get her freedom papers, right? Because she was an illegal immigrant. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying. You know, the guy that wanted to help the sick, you know, because what would Jesus do? Would Jesus be for wanting to help all the sick, or get rid of treatment for all the sick? but you know, like they say, it's the Messiah is not going to be a guy like Jesus. You know, it's not what it's going to be. Right. But anyway, let's just move on. Who cares? Do I think Trump is the Antichrist? No. Like what? First of all, I don't believe in all that nonsense, right? But let's say I was a believer. Which one's more likely? Like, you know, come on. You know, the best part is that woman in the background. She's like, wow, like she's just amazed by all the information that she's receiving. How could anybody believe this shit? How can anybody sit down, listen to this, and be like, oh yeah, totally? And they're like debating whether he's the Messiah or John the Baptist, or a John the Baptist-like figure. Donald Trump, right? And they're like, but I don't think he's the Antichrist. Just disclosure, not good old Trump. He's the anointed one, handpicked by God. You know, because of all the things God could do to fix the problems on earth, God really wants to get, you know, big tax breaks for the rich. You know, we really got to get Donald Trump in office. And, you know, I mean, he could work on, I don't know, all the wars, maybe less war, but no, we need more war. That's the answer, right? More killing. All the famine going on, all the innocent children getting, you know, dying, thanks to like in the Sudan, you know, thanks to Saudi Arabia, one of our allies that we're selling weapons to, okay? If you were to sell weapons knowingly to a raging lunatic that's murdering children, you would go to prison. Our United States government knowingly sells weapons, all right, to Saudi Arabia to use on innocent people. That includes elderly and children, all right? But no, that's not God. God doesn't have time for shit like that. God needs to anoint Donald Trump, all right? And protect Donald Trump. Let's put all our focus on Trump. Because the real stuff we got to do is not peace in the Middle East so they can stop killing each other. No. We need to just get rid of the Palestinians. They're getting in the way of prophecy. Because that makes total sense. Out of everything in God's agenda, that's what we need to focus on. Right? Right. By the way, buy my book, $50. It comes with a free DVD with more bullshit. They'll probably sell you more shit. You know, I have no respect for people like this, man. All right? None. Because they know what they're doing. They're hustling people. They're hustling people, man. That's what they're doing. And, you know, I do feel bad for the people that fall for this shit, but at the same time, it's like it's hard to feel bad for someone who could be that gullible. It's hard. Let's open up the chat. Let's see if there's anything in the chat. I see people coming and going, so let me check this shit out. This is insane. All right. By the way, what interest do all these pastors and shit have in selling people books and making more millions and buying more jets if the end times is practically just around the corner? Like if everything's about to end, like I just don't understand. Like what rush are they in to make all this money out of people? And now, does this church, do these people who basically run the church, by the way, they get to talk all this political shit, right? They get to endorse Donald Trump all day and donate to his campaign and tell people in their church to donate to their campaign or they're going to hell. They get to do all that. Do they pay taxes? No, they don't pay any taxes. You know what I think? I think that if you want to get involved politically, you got to pay taxes. I think that's a fair trade. I don't think you should be tax exempt. What makes you different than any other business? Because that's what you're doing. You're hustling people for a living. All right. You can say, well, I respect the hustle. Fine. Okay. I'm going to tax you for it. They should be taxed for this. All right. Now, if a church just wants to do good things like feed the poor and, just do all the things that Jesus, preached about, feeding the poor, taking care of the needy, praying for people and wishing nothing but good things and, just Jesus stuff. Like if you want to do all good things and you're like, I don't care who's president. We're not going to get involved in politics. And then fine. I'm fine with you being tax exempt because you're doing good things. But you don't get to, just because you're doing some good things, like you don't get to like try and, influence elections. You don't get to do that while you're being tax exempt. All right? Just because your religious beliefs system is that we need to get rid of all the Palestinians. And we need Israel to be free and all that. And we need to get rid of all their quote-unquote enemies. And we need to just be involved in that. Why do we, in the United States of America, need to be involved with the bullshit that Israel is involved in? But okay. All right, let's... T85, just supporter are delusional. Bobby Kripik, guess you watched the secular talk video. I saw the title, but I went straight to the video. I just saw actually. Ha ha ha! The title. Bobby Krepek. He can at least acknowledge that he used to be pro-choice, but he changed his mind for a reason. But he switches positions like the weather. While Donald Trump's explanation as to why he became pro-choice, pro-life is it was a pretty dumb explanation, and it doesn't make sense timeline-wise. Okay, he said that he knew, quote unquote, knew a woman that was thinking about getting an abortion, and then she decided not to. And it was a good friend of his, and then that boy grew up to be such a great young man, and it made him realize that it's a good thing that she didn't get that abortion. Now, if you buy, I'm not saying that's not possible. I guess it's possible, but it doesn't make sense because he was pro-choice pretty recently. Like, it's not like he was like. At what point did he realize, oh, he's such a fine young man? What if he's a troubled young man? Like, he's not going to change his mind? Like, what does that mean? Like, at what point? Like, it's not when he saw the kid. Like, he said it's a good friend. So when the kid was 2 years old, he was still pro-choice. When the kid was like 5, still pro-choice. I don't like kids. When the kid was like 10, I don't know. I got to see how this kid does, Like, is he going to go to college? Like, I don't know. I got to see how he does. It wasn't until he was a young man. I guess that could be anything from, I don't know. Let's say 18, right? So it took him 18 years after this woman had that she allegedly was going to have an abortion but decided not to. It took Donald Trump until he was a young man to realize that it's a good thing she didn't have an abortion. So therefore, he became pro-life. That makes no sense, okay? Anybody who nods their head at that, like, you got to be dumb. I'm sorry. Use your critical thinking just for a moment. Does anybody really believe that Donald Trump really became pro-life? Does anybody really believe that? How do you go from being pro-choice under all circumstances? It doesn't even make sense. Donald Trump had kids himself. He didn't realize the value of life. Like, was Donald Jr. not worth looking at it and saying, oh, what a fine young man. I'm so glad, okay, your mom didn't abort you. He didn't figure it out then. I mean, holy shit, this is stupid. Like, come on. After he had his children, he was on TV saying, not only was he pro-choice, people, like, this is what people need to understand. He was asked 3 times in a row, what about pre-birth abortion? Like, you understand what we're asking here. Like, are you for pre-birth? I am pro-choice, period. Like, no questions asked. Under all circumstances, I'm pro-choice. Not even pro-choice people are pro-choice under all circumstances, okay? Like that is insane. Like, at best, you'll get, I'm for pre-birth abortion if it's going to be the life of the mother. And that's that's a big if. All right? Like, in most cases, even people that go pro-choice under that circumstance. Trump was pro-choice, point blank, period. Right? Now, he can't be that pro-life because, like a lot of pro-life people, he's full of shit. Okay? Because if he really cared about the lives of kids and all that, right, then he would be very concerned about the innocent Palestinian kids getting killed by Israelis, but he's not really concerned about that. Or the innocent kids in the Sudan getting killed. He's not really concerned about that. Like, like it's and I can give you the George Carlin was one of my favorite comedians of all time. I recommend George Carlin to anybody. Okay. When you're pre-born, you're fine. Okay, once you're born, you're on your own. Okay, with a middle finger. That's most people that are pro-life. Okay, they're full of shit. All right, let's move on. Just because you don't think he's the Messiah doesn't mean he's Joe Biden either. Joe Biden, what does this mean? Build the wall, yeah. CBZ, who is definitely a Trump supporter, I could just, it oozes out of you, bro. But which is cool. You won't be seeing Trump playing with little girls in private areas. Well, actually, I mean, he was playing with his little girl. Okay, there's pictures of him where he has his hands in places where fathers should not have anywhere near their daughters. But that's another, another story. Blame Clinton and Obama for selling weapons to Saudis. I have. I have videos where I have criticized Obama and his administration for selling weapons to the Saudis. I have criticized that administration, which Clinton was in fact the Secretary of State, Hillary, okay, and toppling dictators and escalating Bush's wars. I have in fact criticized. I did criticize Obama on his drone strikes on innocent people. Okay, I have done that. Now, do you want to cover the fact that Donald Trump has almost tripled, right, and has already killed more innocent civilians than Obama did in 8 years? It doesn't excuse what Obama did, but we need to acknowledge the facts. Right? Thank you. Next. Using religion, exploiting them, personal gain, and brownie points should be a crime. I agree with that. Okay? Now, keep in mind, I'm not talking about all Trump supporters here. I am talking about this specific group of people which are very real and have a real following, all right, that vote for Trump at 98% and up, okay, believing this bullshit and wanted to get involved politically in our political process. That's what I'm talking about. They told him, if you're pro-choice, you can run as a Republican and win. Well, of course he knew that. Like, that's politics 101, T85, I am only not overly religious. I'm more of an agnostic. So shit like these dumb shits are saying is laughable. Donald using the fact that he wasn't a politician for an excuse as to why he never consistent with his political standpoints. But it works. So it's definitely worked. Peanut butter crackers, I believe Jesus and Christian is a savior. That alone offends some people. All abortion is quote unquote pre-birth, by the way. Am I missing something? No, it's not. Right? That's not true. Okay, that's just not scientifically true. But okay. So, like, look, man, I know a lot of people will be like, oh my God, you can't do that. But I don't have a problem with a woman taking abortion pills after she had sex the night before, right? If you believe that there's a third person in the room after a dude comes inside a woman, then that's on you. I don't believe that, right? Okay, so there is a process involved with that, okay? I don't think men commit, okay, mass murder, okay, every time they jerk off. I don't believe that. So, but that's another story, okay, at the end of the day. I know what Trump supporters you're talking about. I don't fuck with those middle American fucks. Well, there you go. And let me say this, okay? And I'm going to end it with this. I know I missed a lot of comments, but I can't go through all of them right now. But I do appreciate everybody who was in the comment section, all that. The crazy part is, look, there actually is fundamentalists that are in Congress right now, okay, who like believe this. At the very least, I can say pretty confidently that I don't think Trump believes this crap. I just don't, right? He doesn't say anything about it. He doesn't comment about it, right? He's very vague when he says certain things. So, and my point is, if this was like a Ted Cruz, like someone who really wants a theocracy, right, then I would be very concerned right now. I honestly would. Right? I would be extremely concerned. Like even that dude that just ran, Roy Moore. A lot of people talked about he was a pedophile, is this, is that. I was also concerned about his stance on a lot of things. The dude basically wanted a theocracy, right? Since Trump doesn't really believe this shit, right? and he knows he has a lot of leeway with these people. Like he knows he does. He can be swayed. He can be persuaded to change his stance on certain things. He just has to give it time. It's all about timing and when it's actually politically feasible to do it, right? So it's one of those things, and he could blame it on somebody else and or whatever. But so there's the good thing is that I don't think Trump believes, to his credit, I don't think he believes he's the Messiah and the second coming of Jesus. He probably thinks it's hilarious. Um, but these people here, the ones on the video that were talking, don't believe it either. Okay, they're just hustlers. But when I'm looking at that video, you know what scares me? Is when I'm looking at these videos and I'm looking at those elderly people or just those middle-aged people in a crowd just nodding their head like in belief, like, oh my God, this is so true. And like they just can't believe what they're hearing. It makes all the sense in the world. Like, that concerns me. I mean, that concerns me a lot. Because that's somebody's grandmother. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's father. And they're giving a lot of their money to these fucking scam artists. Because that's what they are. Right? And they're giving their vote to Trump just based out of this. This nonsense. While they're cutting their fucking Medicare, they're voting on this shit. This is insane. But anyway, that's another topic altogether. Bobby Krepik, I do, yes. I believe Cruz is definitely worse than Trump. There's no doubt about that. Well, yeah, Joe Biden's in some weirdo shit, that's for sure. I believe in the second coming of Christ. You don't DStyle, says peanut butter crackers. Let me see. Hypotype. Where's hard evidence that Jesus really existed the first time? Yeah, scary times have been dodged. Thank God, to Sebezi. Look, let me answer that question. Do I believe in the second coming of Jesus? What does that mean? Like literally, like biblically? Like, do I believe that that the Messiah, quote unquote, that Jesus will return, and this time it will be fire and fury, and there's going to be a rapture and all that? And do I believe all that? No, I don't. I don't. Okay. But if somebody, look, from my understanding, I could be wrong about this, but I've always been told that no one knows, that even if you believe it, no one knows when the end time's going to come. You don't know, right? A lot of these scam artists have been scamming people for centuries with the end times coming, right? This is no different. This is no different. I mean, if you keep preaching about the end times over and over and over and over and over again, I mean, mankind is destructive. Something is bound to happen at some point, right? We have nuclear weapons, and we have, weapons of mass destruction. Or there's things like diseases that can spread at any time, and wipe us all out. Like, so at some point it's going to happen, but that's because they're saying the end time is going to happen every fucking year, right? You keep saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It may be 300-400 years from now, or maybe longer than that. But as long as people keep predicting that the end time is coming, the end time is coming, the end time is coming, then I guess it could happen at any time. Like, the end of the world. I guess. Make no mistake about it, it won't really be the end of the world. It'll be the end of us as a species. That's the world. In the words of George Carlin, the Earth is fine. The Earth ain't going nowhere. Okay? If we destroy ourselves with nuclear weapons, it might take the world, hundreds of thousands of years or whatever, but it will cleanse itself and it will continue to live for billions and billions of years more. Right? It ain't going nowhere. we're fucked. But no, I don't believe in that, if that's your question. Not saying that it is, but it's called faith for a reason. No hard evidence that I know of. Yeah, there are nuts out there, true that. And now that doesn't mean you don't have a right to believe it. You don't have this. You don't have that. Just don't try and pass policies because of your religious views. That's all, right? So that's all I ask. Let's see. As for me, like I'm not a religious guy, but I am a. Do I believe in God? Like I don't believe in the biblical God. I don't in the God of Abraham, but I believe there could be a God. I think there's, I some would consider myself a spiritual person. I would say, and but do I believe that man has all the answers and a book has all the answers? No, I don't. Right? Have I prayed in my life? Yes. Do I believe that the Bible is the Word of God? Well, no. No, I don't believe that God sat down and wrote the Bible. All right. DS, yeah, you could say that. Pretty close to DS, yeah. I don't like labeling myself. That's the issue I have, I guess. But agnostic is probably a good one. Maybe deist, At some point, the comet will hit the planet. Well, hopefully not soon. Please, we haven't seen Joshua versus Wilder yet. Like, maybe after that fight happens, and we'll see. But at least wait till that fight happens, and then we'll talk about a meteor hitting the Earth. There might be something, and that something could be beyond our capability to understand, says Jimmy Williams. Well, that's a good way to put it. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it a day here, right? I'm out. Peace.